welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Each episode takes a deep dive into the franchise space and explores how the biggest and best brands handle national branding, franchise development, employee recruitment, and localized marketing on a daily basis. This podcast is brought to you by NetCertive, a localized digital marketing partner for franchise networks. NetCertive talks shop with franchise executives to discuss what's working, what's not, and answers the question, what else can you be doing to excel at the art of franchise marketing?
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Erin Martin, and this episode's brought to you by NetCertive. Today, our guest is Bre Boote, the Senior Director of Marketing and Communications at Slick City Action Park, the first waterless slide park, which I love that description. Bree, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Erin.
And so to dive in, can you just give our listeners a little more background about yourself and your role at Slick City?
Yeah, I've been with the company since we started with our CEO, Braun Lonsby. So we launched our first location in June of 2022 in Denver, Colorado. Prior to that, Braun owned some other FECs, Sky Zone Trampoline Parks. He was actually the largest franchisee at Sky Zone. And when I worked for him there, I was on the operations side of things, and I slowly transitioned into marketing and communication, overseeing our call center. And then when he first talked to me about this idea of a slide park, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds awesome. And he asked me to join him in just creating this awesome, unique, innovative brand. And I was totally on board. And then last year, about February, he sold all of his Sky Zone parks, and we've been all in, just growing Slick City, new slides, new franchisees, new corporate parks. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, but it's been so fun. And we love the FEC space.
Yeah, and very cool to be with the brand from the beginning, like truly building a brand. Where did the idea come from? Where did his idea of slides in a park come from?
Yeah, his partner, Gary Schmidt, they met during the Sky Zone days. Braun was actually the first Sky Zone location in Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to have an indoor slide. And that was Gary's first prototype. And when he put that slide in Murfreesboro, he was like, I think we have something here. And it all stemmed from there. So Gary Schmidt is actually the inventor of this dry slide technology. We actually have over 55 patents approved or pending on our technology. So it's proprietary. It's something we're very proud of, and it's something that we protect as well.
Ah, interesting. That makes a lot of sense when you say that, just in terms of like, you start to go down a slide and get stuck.
Totally. Yeah. Because when you go down our slides, you're on a patented mat. So, it's taken years of development to develop the slide and the coating on the slide and what the slide is made out of and the physics that go into it. And then the mat that you go down on, that's also years and work of development as well by Gary and his team.
Yeah, that's awesome. It reminds me of, in terms of just finding an experience that someone loves that you can sell. Last night, this is a little off tangent, but last night I was watching the latest episode of 1923, the prequel to Yellowstone, where he was watching some Norwegian skiers, and he's, what are they doing? And then they explained what they were doing, and he was like, a light bulb clicked. I can sell that. And it's like,
exactly,
you found such an awesome experience. Like, everyone loves the slide, and then we're building a brand around it, which I love.
Yeah, and it actually started with a water slide. I think it was like the world's tallest water slide. So he started with it on a lake in Phoenix. And you've probably seen like those viral videos of those people going down those launch off the end. Yeah, that's Gary. So that's really where it stemmed from.
That's awesome. So what did the initial phases of building that brand from a marketing perspective look like? Like, where did you guys dig in? I love that you have an operations hat, because I can imagine that's so helpful to have in a background too,
100%.
Trying to build a brand plus scale it.
100%. Yeah. Really, we made an early investment. And I would say this is like one of our biggest wins in the past 2.5 years is making that early investment into a brand guide, brand book implementation. I think a lot of brands wait a little bit to do that. And it can backfire because they start to lose that identity and things can get out of control quickly.
Yes.
I would say with the brand book in place and all of the marketing materials, whether it's print, digital, in-park signage, like all having the same look and feel, it really helps consistency and guests instantly recognize Slick City, like the experience, no matter where they encounter our brand, whether that's in a park, whether it's online, whether it's on a news segment. And then we took time and really updated our visual identity. And we didn't do like a big launch on this either, but we've actually already updated our color palette to new colors. We've rolled out a new logo. I don't think a lot of people know that. Fonts, patterns, icon usage, all of those things we locked in super early. And I think that is important even before we get franchise locations and just making sure that all parks are on the same page. And we want to be a nationally recognized brand. So it starts with brand guidelines, brand identity. What is our personality?
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question is what did the model for growing look like? Did you guys start with franchising out of the gate? Did you start with your corporate? What did that look like?
We started with corporate locations. So we actually, exciting news, our first franchise location just opened on Saturday.
Congrats.
Yep. They killed it. Maple Grove, Minnesota. So super excited for them. That's going to be an awesome location. We're really close to the second franchise location in Brownsburg, Indiana, which is like the Indy metro area. That park should open within the next 3 or 4 weeks here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and franchising really took off for us. So we didn't start franchising until February of 2024. So just over a year ago, we already have 41 franchise agreements signed. And
Wow.
The inquiries are still rolling in. Alex, our VP of franchising, is doing an awesome job. He has Megan on his team as well, but they are busy with calls, which is how we like it. And then we host those discovery days every couple of months at different locations throughout the country.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so related to that brand side and the playbook, like what did that look like for you guys extending, I guess, your brand differentiator too in the market into a lot of the local marketing tactics? What is that differentiator for you guys? And then what are you doing to get that message out there?
Yeah, so this took a little bit of time. So we came up with the brand book, but we were having a difficult time coming up with what is our tagline. Like we've used like fastest friction, and then some people were like, that doesn't really make sense. Or faster than friction, that doesn't make total sense either. And then our COO, Wade, just started saying the saying on LinkedIn. He would use the hashtag better than awesome. And it's simple, but it's so true. There's no better way to put it. Like our parks, our attractions are better than awesome. So we've really stuck with that, and we're actually going to start putting that on the walls in future locations. We've been working on new wall art files that go with our brand guideline, brighter colors, just more unified brand identity, and pushing that out to all of the parks.
I love that. And that does seem to translate. I haven't been to a Slick City. I know there's one in Denver, so I'm so excited to take my children at some point. But that translates to that feeling that you get without being, over processed or over, I like to call it literal sauce.
Exactly.
Your differentiator in the market. There's urban airs. There's like a ton of other kids activities out there that you can do. But I think there is an awesome opportunity specifically in the like larger spaced experience spot to be able to take your kids and just like actually run around. Like you're not in a tiny 10 by 10 area digging in the sand, although there's a time and place for that too.
Yeah.
But I think that specific translation and opportunity is like a great carve out of the children experience arena. Or at least speaking from a mom's perspective.
Absolutely. And another thing that we're super proud of is, and it's one of our growth strategies, is really diversifying those target demographics. And I already think we do this pretty well. But last year, over 24% of our paying guests were over the age of 18. And that's rare for the FEC space. So I think that's something that really differentiates us from our competitors is we get parents, grandparents, older siblings wanting to participate. Who doesn't want to go down a slide?
Yeah, 100%. And I would go down a slide personally, but there's a lot of things at some other indoor parks I would not do because I'm like,
Totally.
oh, hell no, my body doesn't do that. No, I don't want to get injured. But a slide is like fun but safe in my mind.
Totally, exactly. And we have different levels of slides. We have slides that don't launch you in the air. You don't have to do all 14 slides in a location. You could do 2 or 3 slides with your kid. So we love that it truly is an all ages entertainment experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so related to that demographic, one thing I'm curious your POV on is because obviously when it comes to marketing, you can't be targeting and marketing to children. So you've got the decision makers you're aiming after. But at the same time, the reason why I bring this up is I swear last week, my son, 5-year-old son, was having a play date with a friend over. They're sitting at the table coloring. And I'm in the kitchen, like packing their lunch. I overhear him say, "Have you been to Slick City? It's so fun." And my son was like, "No," but his friend was talking it up. So it's like there is legit kid word of mouth happening.
Totally.
So how do you guys think about that or approach it? Or is it just always, that's great, gravy on the train, but always laser focused on parents? Like, how do you guys go about that or think about it?
Yeah, I think it's just utilizing all different channels. I think a lot of kids are on YouTube, so really utilizing like YouTube Shorts is key for us. TikTok is huge for Gen Z. I agree with you. I think word of mouth, like in schools, is huge. So really getting involved in the community. And if there is a local kids fair, getting a booth set up and we set up a game for the kids, and that really shows the brand to the kids and also the parents at the same time. At birthday parties, we're really making sure that we follow up after a birthday party with the parents of the kids who attended a party and trying to get them to book their birthday party there. So there's a lot of it is targeting the parents, the decision makers, but I think because of our visuals that we can post online, it's easier to target the kids as well.
Yeah, and both YouTube Shorts, TikTok, the thing that comes to mind is impactful video. And I think I even saw one of the videos you guys posted that was a drone video of the whole inside, which was amazing. So tell me more about like your video strategy, how you capture great creative. It looks like you guys are doing great things on that side.
Yeah, that's one of our initiatives for this year is to book some professional shoots to get more like quality content, 360-degree videos, whether that's used for social or Google virtual tours, more seasonal and themed content. We don't have a ton of that right now. And I think video going into 2025, like YouTube Shorts, TikTok Reels, Instagram Reels, those are golden. I think studies have shown the attention span of people is just getting shorter and shorter. And with like hook driven content, it's such a smart move. So like the quick engaging videos showing like the high energy moments for us, I think it's a little bit easier. I can just throw a clip of a kid flying 15 feet in the air off of a slide, and that's perfect for grabbing attention right away. So yeah, we're getting some professional photo and video shoots booked to get some more of that content for 2025.
Yeah. And do you guys do anything on the user-generated content side in terms of formal programs or being able to farm some of that? How do you approach that?
Totally. I always say like authenticity over aesthetics is huge in social right now. So like guests are over the polished, staged content. My personal opinion is it's just blah. Like when I'm scrolling through my Facebook, I want to see like real life, real user experiences. So that's what we focus on a lot at Slick City. So that UGC and the EGC, so like employee generated content as well. So real experiences, the storytelling, the behind the scenes moments, like a day in the life of working at Slick City. That stuff performs really well on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So
yeah, I like that lens. It's very behind the scenes when you get employees involved in a way.
Totally. And as far as influencers, I think the rise of the micro and the nano influencers is big going into 2025 as well. So like those influencers who have like under 100,000 or under 10,000, we're finding that they actually have higher engagement rates. And I think they just have better trust from their viewers in general. We love to use influencers as much as possible. It's a piece out of our local marketing playbook that we give to all franchisees, that we use at the corporate park level at all. I think influencers just build social proof. They create that FOMO because it's a real experience. It's like guest validation, and it like places us as a must-visit destination from a real person.
Yeah.
This is an ad.
And what does that program or kind of structure look like for you guys with the playbook? Is it just hooking the Z up with an influencer who visits and does some posting? What does it look like for you guys?
Yeah, it's a much more cost-effective way of marketing compared to traditional marketing for sure. We operate on a lot of trade or partial trade basis with influencers.
Oh, cool.
So we're finding that a lot of influencers will come in for free because they just want to experience this new park with their family or with their kids. And then we sometimes send examples from other influencers who have gone viral and gained thousands and thousands of followers from our video. Last night, actually, I was looking at some of the influencers from Maple Grove and just comparing our content on the influencers page to their most recent content. And it's leaps and bounds above their previous videos. And I think that just speaks to the power of Slick City content right now. It's new. It's something people have never seen before.
Yeah, and such epic content. I would think that as an influencer, you're basically giving them like a whole playground of epic opportunities for their own, self-growth and exposure. So what's better than that win-win scenario?
Exactly. And that's the reaction we get a lot is, oh yeah, we're down. We could totally film fun content in here. And we go after like those like St. Louis date night groups, or it's not always a mommy blogger or a family influencer. It's actually one of our most viral videos was from a girl. Her username is Texas Eats First, and she historically only did food content, and she was maybe in her mid-20s. She came out to our park in Houston when it first opened. Her TikTok reel was eventually reposted by ESPN, and she went totally viral. And she never posted stuff like that before, but now she gained a ton of followers. And if you look at her page today, I think she has a more diverse range of content. And so it totally is. I agree with you. It's a win-win for both people. And in saying that, there have been times that we pay influencers too. It's not always a trade basis. You just have to be flexible, and we tell franchisees that too, is look at their content, look at their engagement. Do they match our brand? Do they match our personality? And then do what you think works. And sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error.
Yeah, always testing.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, so what other initiatives do you guys have underway for this year?
Yeah, great question. Something we're looking into is that text marketing. I feel like I get that question at every Discovery Day is, do we do SMS marketing? We don't right now, but it's something I'm looking into. I think studies have shown like the open rates of text is much higher than email. And we see this through our corporate call center as well, like texting people to get party confirmations. They're much more likely to respond to us that way than if we give them a phone call. So text marketing, I think, will be something we're looking into for 2025 and beyond. Another thing we've been talking about with our PR company is more thought leadership from our executive team. We think it's really crucial for our guests, franchisees, and potential franchisees to really resonate with our brand on a personal level. And I think our executive team has a lot of great things to say and insights. So just a little bit more thought leadership. We've already talked about like the prioritizing the TikTok and the Instagram reels. That's a big initiative for us, those short videos that are hook driven at the beginning. Local SEO optimization we're working on in 2025. Really, I think it's crucial for businesses like ours, like location and proximity of the parks. They play a significant role in attracting guests. So optimizing our park pages, websites, landing pages, Google My Business profiles, to just drive traffic and help us rank higher in search.
Yeah, I think every marketer is trying to figure out, okay, like this is an always on thing you always have to be on top of, but especially given the LLMs and like the search changing behavior, everything that's going on, everyone's trying to stay on top of that. And I don't know, do you have any, I always ask people about AI, but do you have any insights into specifically what you guys are seeing with changing search trends or what's working for you guys or how you're incorporating AI and staying on top of the changing consumer behavior?
Yeah, I've looked into AI tools for marketing. Like Jasper is one that I've done a ton of research on. I would say we don't use a ton of AI, but I think AI in 2025 is going to go from like hype to necessity. We're going to have to pivot 100%. So like AI helping write landing page content, blog posts, meta titles, descriptions, and the list goes on and on of what AI can do for marketing. And I think it'll make all of our jobs a lot easier. Campaign briefs, when we send them out to franchisees, it's endless. So yeah, AI is definitely something we're looking into. I wouldn't say we do a ton of it today, but we know that it's going to be a necessity.
Yeah, I'm excited for the day when the crazy fragmentation of every single different AI tool for a different use case. And then even if you're like jumping into Perplexity or ChatGPT, it's what model do you want to use? And you're like, I don't know, like you tell me. Like we're not complete rocket scientists yet. So I'm excited for the day that all of that starts to swing back to simplicity. Not that we'd always get there. I think we've been on this constant fragmentation of systems and tools as marketers since forever, so it will continue. But I would like to see the AI swing back in the way that it becomes a little more systematic and easy to fold into your everyday. Google's a little bit doing that with Gemini in terms of if you use them as a business suite, they'll layer their Gemini and AI tools into every piece of your workflow then. So it's more of a systematic approach to your company using it in smart ways versus just, I'm a marketer and I'm using all these one-off tools for various things here or there. So I think we'll see that evolve, but it'll be interesting how that actually shakes out.
Yeah. I think AI may take my job one day.
Someone who knows AI might, but I think you got it still. I also love, just to go back real quick, I also love the thought leadership push with the leadership team, especially when you have such leaders that are so close to the business and built it from the ground up. I think there's a real good confluence there of authenticity mixed with true expertise that's needed for thought leadership to shine. Like you can't be inauthentic when you're trying to stand up and say something that's worth listening to. So I love that there's an extra level on that, because I think the piece that a lot of executives often miss is just either the courage to do it, or it's, I can't write, no one will like my post. And you have amazing things to say, but you might need a program to help you get some of that thoughts out. Yep. So I think a formal program in that regard is awesome and huge for Fran Dev efforts. If you guys have great unit economics already mixed with some air cover with great thought leaders, like you guys are pretty much in the everyone wishes that we had the organic pipeline you have scenario.
Yeah, totally agree.
Awesome. I know we're coming up on some time here, but just wanted to ask, if you had to go back to your younger self and give you some advice or guidance based off of what you know now, what would that be?
That is a good question. I think something interesting about my story, and a lot of people don't know this, is I don't have a college degree. I started working for SkyZone when I was 19 years old as an assistant manager, and I have just worked my way up since then. I moved to St. Louis in 2018 and started working for Braun at one of his SkyZone parks there. And I think I am so blessed that Braun took me under his wing, and I just absorbed as much knowledge as I could from him and really just worked my mind off. And I've done a ton of LinkedIn learning courses, and just I really learn from my colleagues. I'm not afraid to ask questions, not afraid to take chances, and I think having a college education is huge. It's important, but experience in the field is also just as important. And so I think if you can find someone to work under that really values someone who's a forward thinker, who always wants to learn more, who's willing to put in the time and effort, I think that's really valuable and important, and I honestly can't thank Braun enough for that in my professional growth. And I'm still learning. We have a marketing consultant, and I meet with him multiple times a week. I bet there's maybe 1 or 2 days a week that I don't speak to him. So just continuously growing and evolving and learning. And I think that's been our brands as well. Slick City we've started from nothing, and now we've evolved, and we could have over 30 parks open by the end of the year. And we're only 2.5 years in, so that's huge. So just finding someone who values innovation, values hard work, I would say is big.
I love that. And I think it's so true. I think we're headed that way too, in terms of there is nothing better than getting your hands dirty, learning every day, staying curious. Like, that will get you where you want to go.
Yep.
When I look back at I went to school for marketing, my undergrad, and it's like, what did I really learn? Like, that was a great 4 years, but there is nothing that can replace hands-on passion and purpose and hard work and learning. So I think that's like dead on, and that be curious, especially with the crazy amount of tools coming out. That's how you're going to stay ahead and always growing and pushing the needle for sure.
Yeah. And just not putting myself in a box, not putting the brand in a box. Like, we have to be willing to try new things, and it might not work, but it might work really well. And so I think that's just one of our mottos as a brand and just as a leadership team is we are always going to test new things. We're always going to push the limits. We're always going to be innovative, and we want to be the first, and we want to be the best. So we can't put ourselves in a box. Yeah.
That's how you stay the best. Take it one step further. Every no gets you to a yes. So the faster you can plow through 5 no's, these didn't work. Yes, we got to the next one. That's how you do it.
Yep, exactly.
Love that. Thank you, Bree, so much for coming on. It was so fun to talk about Slick City, and this is definitely getting me wanting to go to the Denver location and check it out, actually get on a slide with my son now that he's got it chatted up by his friends. So thank you again for coming on, and thank you to listeners who chimed in today.
Thank you so much, Erin. It was super fun, and let me know when you want to visit Slick City. I will get you some tickets.
Sounds good. Love it.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Franchise Marketing. This show is brought to you by NetCertive. We help franchise brands and multi-location businesses run localized digital marketing at scale. To learn more, visit netcertive.com.